Hey, this is comments on the evolution of the punk renaissance and changes that have been made mysteriously to the dynamic and the whole concert and big ambiance, and especially how the function, how people work together now. And I noticed a lot more loving. I came from Punk Snake Noise in Quebec City this weekend, and lots of love, and it was just a work and get everybody open and just wiggle our way to the happiness. And the more they touched with all this feeling that everybody had, made everybody sing together. It's a really big change in the attitude, because before I used to I hung out for years in the gig sector and concerts and all that, underground scene, especially Quebec City, punks, a bit of metal. Now I just got into metal a lot more for the last 2 months, and grindcore also. I grew up with punks, actually. Being too much of a hippie, I used to have long dreads through my ass, and it gave me a sore neck, so I cut them off to please my daughter that disguised herself as Harley Quinn one Halloween that I can't practically see. I think that's what the KKK took my baby away was trying to say. Anyways, and I was too much of a punk to be a hippie, although I'd go to rainbows and dance naked in the sun. So I was kind of a hybrid or a devil Christ kind of thing. But I always ended up alone and drugs my only friend kind of thing for all those years. And I was kind of playing, that my head would always fall to the side, and I'd start doing the pendulum, and nobody would notice that. And then I noticed that I was doing the hangman. I was on the gallows. Nobody, it was just, they were just instructed to pass by, that not to speak. It's this mind control of it. When the rooster was a kangaroo, the whole dynamic was different. People were being taught how to play this conflictual, self-sabotage, kind of dismantling, discordant synchronicity between people, and the people gaining influence were more of an egoistic and looking kind of and seems like lately they kind of connected to something, and something opened that darkness that was fascistizing all the punks for a while. And to see how they would separate good couples, good friends that keep apart, put a Nazi punk in between all the time. And you don't even notice them, but they're dressed in a red and green mohawk. Or sometimes when they're more obvious, they'll wear a chaos kind of head Statue of Liberty thing. But they have the wrong definition of chaos, those ones I figured. Because chaos, I don't know, nobody have ever really explained to me what chaos was, except for being able to mess up my mind or play with my heart or something, which I don't really care because there's no stop button on mine, so it's good for a long run, and it's the house of a very dangerous felons, so it's a gateway to hell also. So welcome to hell. Oh. Yeah, and by wiggling and kind of squatting, opening the squats up, you tend to get this unity that appears, but a good unity, not the old fascist unity, because unity was fascism, and you were stuck with United States and United Nations, and it was getting united upside down, because speaking about punks, I think is a good opportunity to speak of rebellion and revolution, and how we can also try to really attach them to true anarchy, which is in the mind. That's the ungovernable force. That is anarchy. It's in the mind. You'll never get perfect anarchist structured system physically. Dream of it. You'll get chaos and weapons way before that. Anarchy is in the mind. It's all this change, this kissing, and this love we're spreading. And the way that the revolution never stopped, but they had it turning the wrong way. And that would create a narcissistic egoism and dynamic, and the sequence in which people react is kind of a sequence that calls and shuts the doors to some sort of commandment of the most influent that was acting of pure ego. When you come to take a step back, because it's the root of all fascism. Just a parenthesis, most fascists and Nazis look like your best friend and look like you, or like what you love, because we've been loving them with the finger of éThe phoning home with his beer manufacturer, whiskey and rye and whatever you want. Yeah, you can squat ball up the YouTubes if you want. There's a whole bunch of balls flying by though. Creators taking care of that right now. So yeah, right now is a good opportunity to say something intelligent or to act like a vomit. A vomi in French. Vomit comes from when you met is to put, but you can also put your thoughts somewhere. So that's the me. Me is because the veal, the veau, has been fucked. Or me, vomi. When they fuck the veal, it gives vomit. So that's a good punk principle to know. And sometimes vomit is really good to rinse bad thoughts with. But yeah, and that dynamic was destructive, and it was eating off people's ego and their sense of belonging, keeping them away from love, and they would not touch it at all. And they would just become more and more and more and more entangled in this hierarchic dynamic where the most flashy posers would become gurus and camp everybody up in a camper, and camper in French is camp fear. Camper, camper. Yeah, you can per that, you know, bird language. So so to be a happy camper, I guess we managed to get the love flowing and to get a bit of untangling in the C-3PO's rewiring Been working hard on the punk scene to reinstore an intelligent dynamic, and thanks to the musicians and their work on the writing pad and with the mic, the best sculptures there are for its mind. Such a source of they're channeling something unreal and creating magic and all over. And there's one thing I would like to say about the punk movement, and when they say no God, no master, is you can don't pay attention to God, because depending on what God means, this space is God's. So you can either put that aside, because I've been an atheist all my life, and I discovered chakras and energy flow, and I believe in energies and magnetism. I believe we have a celestial spirit. We're eternal, living a human experience. And I think that one thing punks should open and realize, to get real eyes and to see the net and the web, where they lay and what they use for and what they hide, what the effect is and how it's played with and how it all relates to different things to one another, and different persons to one another. Music is a good guide to get those things out of order, and by letting yourself with the flow and what you love. You have to let yourself go and just trust what you like. Even if it's somebody making you like it, they'll end up liking it because they pushed you that way. So if they put you on bass, on drums, you don't want to get beat, because you just love the drum anyways, and he'll get away from it. And since he's after you, you suck back. So whatever the fuck, just dance and follow what you love. That's how we've been stretching out people's eyes, and they're starting to notice, to conceptualize and feel the magic, and something that was not present, that I haven't felt except for with metal before, and all the heavy metals and all the elements they could play with, and all the mercury you should be putting to the top of your head right now. The mercury, just melting all that old energy, mixing it all up, putting chaos into it. Chaos is everywhere. Chaos is space. We're a galaxy traveling in chaos, in a trajectory. There's a forest, it's trees growing in chaos. The seas is fish and algae and water plants growing in chaos. So chaos is P is chaos, the number P. It's the base of a circle, the most perfect shape, the circular thing, smooth, equal, even on all sides. I guess I would be the most used and comfortable thing to interact with would be a circle, the symbol of the sun, of oxygen. All those elements, they all play. And there's the politics will create, or anarchism has created, an anarchist mind space, which is anarchy. And it's, upside down. And that's a place where there's no rules. It's collective, not supremacy. It's not, but it can become or be transformed into or feel like a supremacy acting upon you, especially if that's what you were actively militating for in a fascist way, pretending to be an authentic hippie or punk or activist or something like that. And I've added this beautiful Facebook like they have. They say on Big Mac, say that ses amis buns, ses amis, his friends. Buns is maids. The ones that are maids of his friends are the ones fucking him over. Or fucking you over, and you'll find them the next time you say okay. So, and they're playing underneath in this place that you're not used to feel or play with. And we've been working hard with all dancing and having fun with the love, not avoiding the love, and just speaking what we want on the love. So whoever's not afraid of love can write intelligently and with love. Anyways, the love would always filtrate the hate and put it apart anyways. And the love and hate just comes in automatically. You can't fool that. So no matter what you say on the love, it'll always have a positive effect. Unless they're really saying war and stuff on the love, you know. So there's this way how by loving and kissing one another psychically, if I can allow myself, we managed to start tuning a clarinet or like a clarinet, and then not get that couple dismantled or nothing. Because I got pair of speakers with long ears and big piercing stretchers that capped extra frequencies, if I can allow myself. Anyways, so punks should open their hearts and their minds to contact their inner self and not having their mind run over their heart. And they need to accept that they have an eternal spirit if they want to live eternally in the universe as light, love, and frequencies, magnetism, elements. And create whatever later if you want. So by creating an anarchist mind space, it acts as upon a neutral zone between left and right, just keeping the love flowing, and it's the right that means the love. I'm sorry, most of the time they give us hate usually. So we're kind of used to filtering hate, but we've been loving one another for a while. Everybody, even people that had an evil program, started to, how can I see all the freedom? I'm not really resisting. I'm all opened up, and I'm not stumbling anywhere like a robot. This is freedom, you know. So yes, you'll always feel energy, but you gotta get in contact with your energies and what you feel, and let your eyes go. Try to go out of focus a bit, and to feel the push and pull, and to feel the energy inside you, like pasta, like the one they call spaghetti, because we're printing spaghetti down your head, so that comes in like dough, and it roll up and you eat spaghetti. So in order to get éThe's finger and his wake up the whole way and the one way, it's a lot of ways, good ways, elemental ways, the best elements for you that you would need that maintain your comfort. Just focus into those elements, your subconscious. Tell them to do it, to bring you the mixture you want. You can play with the elements. See, we're spirit. We can manipulate. We don't just manipulate the sound and the mind. There's a collective mind space that we create with religion. They created a cage with Christianism, 3 options and a roof. You don't even have access to the rest of the universe. You have to go either to 11 or 12. So, and it's most of it's on Earth, anyways. Heaven is here, and hell was down here. So, Satan, buzz. So yeah, they need to open to spirit and to let themselves be embraced with love. And I don't know if you notice that every time you get dizzy or dazed or confused or something, most of the time it helps you out. There's a certain way where you know that something's changing, but it's gonna be better after. It happens to me all the time. I just try to get them to print something on my mind. Sometimes I run after the voice. I just try to put it on the button. You get this dome after a while that floats, and it feels like energy. And this air conditioning, this beer comes in, and then up here you kind of dig in for whiskey, and you get all this wrap around toes of a Caesar something turquoise good night that used to be persecuted. Well, now they're actually giving space to the good night. Because I was the good night. This good night. And that's what I would fall in love with. I'd be playing the bass with a round woman that would all be alpha blue and manipulative and controlling and a bit mind-eating after a certain period, especially for a really good fella, because he never does anything bad in return. So they totally abuse and destroy those type of minds, and that's their function in a fascist state. So that when you throw you on base, you're gonna become a donkey if you fall in love, or it's gonna be a wheelchair. But I got a wheelchair. So it's a chaise roulante. It's a redhead. Who is a redhead? Is an Irish girlfriend. She hits you all the time when she's almost this close to you knowing that she fucks around. She starts hitting you to try to get a slap or something. So I got all that bad luck stuff, and it follows me the rest of my life because she's another of my daddy's little monster. So. But anyways, she started with a synchronized swimming, and swimming upside down in the water, until she noticed that I was getting my head out of the water and still walking straight lines. So they switched her for horseback riding, which I do also. I love horseback riding. So that was a lot of horseback riding. There was a lot of rats. When I started in the punk scene this year, every gig I'd get entangled with 5-6 guys going, yeah. That's what we're doing. They were possessed on this fascist program, and they'd start yanking their heads. I always get their back destroyed. But it was worse, and now I practically don't have to keep those guys. Well, there's always a new batch. There's only 1 or 2. Wiggle 1, wiggle 2, wiggle 1, wiggle 2. Dance, love, fuck. What fucks around goes around, and you play around, I guess. So it's a lot better, getting more attention. People communicating with me in the punk scene because it was really close. Back in the I was excluded a lot. I've been hanging out with them for 10 years. So and now it's totally shift around since July, and the progress that's been done, and how we feel with punks. There's still a little competition because they've been kept away from sex and love for a long time with the fascism being stuck on the bass or playing the drums. That means everybody looks like they want to hit you every time you take a look. So they're getting close and in your bubble and stressing you out, passing real quick beside you, or when you start looking at stuff falling off roofs. You got all these wonderful kisses and stuff. Yeah, that's all the tattoos that you wear. So yeah, so bang bang bounce away. the, the tape just went flying. With oops, fine. So yeah, by cleaning up and being naked, you get all this YouTubing to play with, and activist position, chief position. These are chiefs. These are in command. And it's fuck your way to the top. So whoever fucks the best, careful what you're doing. Often when it's the wrong rooster that gets there first, you'll be having to be doing the opposite thing all the time and not disobeying mental instructions that you don't hear. That's quite crazy. But yeah, the blue telepathy, narcissistic telepathy, which they command your subconscious, and you start acting and behaving like they say. Even if you're conscious, you start doing it unconsciously, whether you like it or not. You're under command. So they get inside my head sometimes. Often at the beginning of the show, it's always a race. So you have to keep moving and moving. When he said, all I see is the ace of spades, well, it's a bit what it is. And the Joker sometimes comes out with his shitty shit, lick back hair. So I think the punks are going to be starting to fall in love and get girlfriends and be respected a lot more, as long as they don't follow what the narcissist fascists are doing to make it look bad, and like be drunk on a pumpkin droplet and pumpkin drop lick. Pumpkin drop lick? No, pumpkin lick drop. The power horse. So try not to look too silly and take care of the good night and be pricks to the bad night. That's the way you're supposed to do, is to love. So when we teach them what to love, they become a lot more fun because they like everything you like, but they're still screwing you over until you're totally washed. They'll still be doing something. So don't get mad at them. They'll look like they're doing it on purpose, but they might not be. Sometimes the direct takes the big robot control. You always have to notice, what am I doing right now? You always have to be attention, what your attention, your focus, and where your energy is being brought to, what it's doing, what you're staring. There's a lot of mind play. It's a lot of resisting. And the best is to be vulnerable to every keywords and everything. So now you're vulnerable, so that's perfect. Because if anything hits you, you start to drift instantly. So you get a nice blue jacket or whatever. It comes with a black coat, a black sweater, black boots, or a black scarf, black tooth, something black. Free home. So welcome to this world, now transform. King of Cool, we just switched to another scene. Yes, this was Bob Bigelow. Okay, this is enough fun. It's been 30 minutes. So, yeah, feeling a lot better among sponks. I hope I didn't act too crazy. And I saw Claire grow some teeth. I saw lots of smiles. I'm happy to see all those people from across the world living these changes that I notice periodically on Facebook, on profiles, how people act and behave and work and get things to be better, and how the work of musicians is nicely applied and cryptopsy. Bon, so have a nice one, and don't be afraid of loving a bit. It has to be loved, and so when you're loving, it can't do fuck all. You might see 2-3 redheads flying by. That's when it's the other rooster. When you're seeing evil stuff happen, it's because it's the other rooster that's in control. So start to resist and fuck him up. Go to his place and fuck him up. Headbang. Just get him the fuck out. But they always go away when you're headbang, when you're mosh pitting. They don't hang in the mosh pitting. You have to connect them to a mosh pitting, so they get all screwed up because the mosh pit goes and gets them every time he moves. So he's like, oh shit, I'm getting all loose again. Chill out. There was this little thing sliding up. Okay, so watch the sky, watch for evil birds of prey, watch for mockingbirds. They'll imitate the sound of other birds. And watch for copycats, because a copycat is the way to revolution. With love, we get the revolution that never stops, to revolve the correct way for collectivity, left, right, equal, until left dissolves ego. Ego will disappear because it's none amongst our values, and materialism and capitalism are not criteria for being a better person. It's being more of a shark than anything else to get better at anything. Sometimes we're from the best. You're best. No. So, but watch out when you're best. That's because they're laughing. So yeah, kind of hard to follow this. The way my mind flows depends on the song playing, depends on the presence around, depends how those streams in my head are untwirling and untwisting, how I'm feeling, and how I'm turning heads. And I just go with the flow. So let your body move to the music and untwist them, dance, headbang, have fun, and love, and use the mic. The mic's there to command, inspire, I would say. Don't, and if they're stubborn and too far right, just dictate. Because they're sons. They're sons of anarchy. So the sons of anarchy obey the brave, and we are the brave. If they're stubborn, otherwise they get loved. And whoever loves has freedom. The best part of anarchy in our minds. Bye-bye. Peace. Anarchy and Peace. Bye-bye.